Oh, and we're live. Hello, everybody. So, welcome to issue 30 of Build a Classic Routemasters. I'm Penny, and I can't find my mouse, and this is Horlicks.
Hello. All right, everyone. How is everyone?
So, what have you been up to this week?
Actually, I've been doing a lot of overtime at work. So I've
Oh,
been doing 7 starts, and then I even work Saturday this week because I'm going to Tenerife in a few weeks. So every little
very
penny
nice.
counts. So yeah, that's about it, really.
Fair enough. Well, I'm on holiday this week, and I've so far managed to waste most of it. Although I did work Monday. I think yesterday I spent most of the day in bed. But the good news is I've got my 3D printer working, I think. So some plans I've got for some designs. I'm going to be working on those over the next couple of days. So some quick hellos before we go into the build. We've got Teddy Connor. And he's asked a question about, or he's made a comment about the chassis, which we'll go into that after the build. So I've got you written down on my little notes, so I will mention that. 32 Soul thought he was late, or she thought I can't remember if 32 Soul is male or female. But she said, oh, they said they'll pop back later.
Oh, he's
Chris
manual.
Campling is actually watching from the beginning. So hello, how's the house move? Paul 61, the anticipation is killing him. Ron Cheeky Crouch says evening. Dave Milne, hi Penny and Horlicks plus everyone. Alan Rooney, hi issue 30. Adrian Langley says hi. And Teddy Connors just said thanks, Penny. So shall we go into the build?
Yeah, it looks like we've got 5 parts this week.
Okay. You seem a little bit quiet to me.
Oh, really?
Is it
You've got
me
my.
or is that
You've got.
the same with everyone? It sounds a bit like you're muffled.
You've got my.
Oh yeah. Do you know
You've,
what? I've got to get all technical now.
you've got my controls. And
Sorry guys, bear with me.
last week, 32 Soul was a he.
Right, can you just say something, Horlicks?
Hello.
Oh, that's a little bit better, isn't it? Okay, so I've turned you up a little bit. Right,
Yeah.
so today we are going to be fitting the exhaust pipe. Now, we've been spoiled the last couple of weeks, so it looks like we've got not an awful lot to do. But I think in actual fact, we've got quite a lot. It's like I say, it's just where we've been used to be doing. And last week, I mean, how could any issue between now and the next 100 ever beat last week's issue? But having a quick look through, it looks like we're going to actually be working the full length of the chassis, which could be a problem for my workspace because I've only got a massive A2 cutting board. So, right, do you want to go through the parts then?
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, we've
Okie
got 5
dokie.
parts. And obviously all exhaust related because we are fitting the exhaust pipe. So 38 is a silencer top.
Okie dokie. So the silencer top looks like, oh, screws. Just pop these bags in a safe place. So the silencer top, that is plastic part. Again, nicely detailed, nicely painted. I may have to change these camera angle. I'm trying to use the autofocus, but it doesn't seem to want to know today. Oh, that's kind of working, isn't it? So that's, again, that's a plastic part, but you wouldn't know it. It does look like it's metal, so I'm happy with that. Barnet Fly, no, you haven't missed much at all. Right, so 30B.
30B is a silencer bottom.
Okay, so that's obviously going to go into the in with the last piece that I just showed you. There we go. And again, that's plastic, looking nice.
Okay, 30C exhaust pipe, 30D
Okay.
and 30E. They're all exhaust pipes.
Okay, well, this looks like 30D. And that's pretty much as you'd expect an exhaust pipe to look. There we go. Oh, I nearly had a focus there. So this looks like 30C. So that's going to be, you're going to have to be a bit careful with that because that's going off in all sorts of directions. And this looks like 30. Oh, this is 30C. And the last part that I just showed you is 30. So that's 30C. That's plastic. This is 30D. And this is 30E. Okay, so that's obviously going to go something along those lines to form a nice big exhaust system. Okay.
Okay, and then you've got two lots of screws, CM and DP. CM
Okay.
1.7 by 4, 4 mil, and DP at 1.7 by 4. So same threads, obviously one's for metal and one's for plastic.
Yeah. And I've actually bought some new pill pots for these because my pill pots are getting all full up and they're starting to get in a little bit of a bad order. But I've just taken these out ready. Obviously, I've had a little look to see what screws we need. So I just take out the compartment I need. There's no point having the whole thing on the table. So as you know, I put my screws straight into here. And this week, the lovely tray that I've modified isn't really going to work out best for me, is it? Because the parts are just too big for it. So we'll just have to muddle along. Oops.
Oh, Trevor Rodway's asked if you stopped doing the shorter videos of the Routemasters and what's happened to the Newport conversion and Harley Davidson.
Right. Okay. Can I address that at the end?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm writing Trevor Rodway on my piece of paper so I don't short builds.
Hello, Stuart.
Forget.
Hello, everyone. Okay, so.
Okay, do you want to have a look at the first, what we're going to be doing on the first bit, and then while you describe that, obviously I should have had the chassis ready, so I'll just pull that down from my shelf.
Okay. So step 1, take the silencer top 30A and the subframe assembly. So I suppose we better give you a minute to try and position the subframe onto your work desk.
Yeah. I just needed a minute actually to get the thing off the shelf. Okay. So
right. So yeah, take the silencer top and the subframe, work on the underside, supporting the frame carefully and taking care not to rest the assembly on any engine parts. Okay, and then it says identify the 2 holes in the rear part of the frame, 16A, circled in red, and position the 2 screw eyes on the sides of part 30A over the screw sockets in the frame.
Okie dokie. So let's see how we're going to do this. Oh, sorry, I didn't.
That will go in with 2 CM screws when you're ready.
Okay. So it looks like you're going to need quite a bit of space to do this. It's certainly not anything for confined space. So got the magazine. Sorry, got the chassis roughly positioned how the magazine is, and it looks like I'm using these bits here as guidance. So I've got the black bit there, which is there. So it's going to go in there. And you see there, or you may not be able to see it too well. I've got 2 screw holes there. So I need to take, basically these 2 parts are pretty much identical, apart from the fact that you've got 2 tabs there. And okay, that makes sense now. So this is going to go in at an angle, and you can see that you've got the 2 tabs there. They are different levels.
Oh, I
but at the
see.
same time, this frame bit is angled downwards. It's not going to create. It's not going to go in like that. It's still going to go in a little bit like that. But that is simply going to go in. I'm just double checking. Whoops. Try not to drop your parts into your box. I'm just double checking. Yeah. So that's going to go in with 2 cm screws, and that's going to be a little bit tight to get to that. So just pop a little bit of fairy liquid on the plastic back box. And I had a screwdriver once. As soon as I put this box on, everything's gone all over the place. I have actually lost my screwdriver. Well, where's that gone then? There it is. So, one cm screw, a little bit of fairy liquid, and what I'm going to try and do is poke that through. So then that way we can use this box to help position the screw. So save me trying to position a screw. Oh, there you go. That's gone straight in. Look. So that's just been put in just enough to grab it. And the other screw.
That's good. It fit the screwdriver in there, so it does look tight.
Yeah, there's not an awful lot of positioning space. Okay. Now that looks like it's going to go in at a funny angle. I'm just going to have a quick look, see if there's any other shots.
That looks right. Yeah, it does go in at an angle like that.
Yeah, yeah. If you look at page 4, the assembly guide, you can see that is going to go in at an odd angle. I'm sure it'll probably make more sense once it's in. So it just looks weird. Sorry guys, I'm just going to have to move it a little bit. Right, and I would definitely recommend don't put one screw in tight until you've got the other one in, and just do a little bit at a time, because these are a plastic part which you're screwing into metal. There we go. Right, so you could easily break that. So I'm going to try and turn this. So I don't know if you can see in there. This is the part there. You see how it sits at an angle? That's what's throwing me. But I do believe that's correct. Okay, so do you want to have a look at you're happy with that?
Yeah, that looks really good.
Okay, and section 2.
Okay, so you need to take the exhaust pipe 30C and identify the fixing points circled.
Okay.
And then it says the hole on the end of the pipe goes through the hole in the cross member of the frame and fits over the screw hole in part 30A. The hole near the elbow of the exhaust fits over the screw hole at the back of the subframe, fixed in place with 1 cm screw and 1 DP screw as shown. And then it says, please note, support part 30A from below while you fix this in place.
Okay, so I believe that this is 30C. So, and that is going to go in. Oh, there's a little hole there. There we are, just there. So it's not in focus. It's so that's going to go through there, and then I'm going to position that over. You see that little hole there? I'm going to position it over there, and I just want to make sure I've got this in right. Okay, so on the rear, along here, you've got a little hole there. And that tab there is going to go into there. And I'm having to flex it a little bit.
Penny, I think it looks like it's the other hole at the top there. By
Do
the
you
top of your
think?
finger. Yeah, looking at the picture.
We have. Yeah, you are right. That would explain why I've had to flex it. Yeah, oh, that looks much more sensible because it's lifted it off of this support there. So we want a DP screw into there and a CM screw into there, which makes sense because this is a plastic part, so we want the DP screw, and this is a metal part, so we want the CM. So usual procedure, I'll just pop the screw in just enough until it grabs. And then that way we can adjust. You see, I'm just moving the exhaust pipe around a little bit just to help me get this screw in. This screw doesn't want to go in. And don't push too hard here because this is only held on by two little lugs. If you can, pop your finger underneath it. Okay, and I've only, like you see, I've only put that in enough just to grab. And then CM screw. Okay, I went to pick one up, but one jumped out of the box, so I'll pick you then. And a little bit of washing up liquid. And push that through. And then try to locate the hole. And right, there we go. So I think I'll go for the metal one first. So that'll give me a firm fixing point. That doesn't want to know, does it? Sorry guys, I'm going to have to just move this a bit. There we go. So that's not going in all the way yet, because I just want to tighten up the other end. Now I'll go back to this, and then that way it keeps the exhaust pipe level. Now I know some people will say tighten that as hard as it'll go, but if it's not going to move, why do we need to tighten it any further? Okay, and then I'll just finish off screwing this one. Again, I'm just supporting it with my finger underneath. However much pressure you push down on the screwdriver, you need to put that much pressure underneath. There we go. That's got movement, but I think that's quite realistic for an exhaust pipe. They usually tend to just be fixed by a couple of points, and they will move around with the vibration of the engine. Okay, so yeah, fairly tricky, so take your time on that one. Okay. I do like that. So section 3.
Yeah. So take the next section of the exhaust pipe, 30D, and fit the screw hole on the end into the silencer, 30A. And then it says, note, in this diagram, the view is from the top side of the subframe. There is a recess in the end of the silencer that the pipe fits into. It may be helpful to hold part 30D in place temporarily with masking tape.
Oh, I see. So we're putting one end in, but we're not putting the other end in. Sorry, I'm just doing a quick dry fit as you. Well, I was trying to have a little bit of a look. Right. So what we've got is we've got the other end of the silencer. So we want to flip it over, and it's trying to find places we can hold. Right, there we go. Flipped over. So there's our silencer, and I know it's the right way around because I can see these wires in the diagram. And right, so it's with this part up. That's going. How are we going to screw that in from that way round? Okay, I can see what's happening. Right. So basically, what we've got is the part section 3 doesn't actually. It just involves finding it. So I think they want us to tape that bit down there and then flip it over and screw it in, because part 4. Can I just ask you just to bring part 4 up?
Yeah.
So part 4 is just popping the screw in.
Right.
And then it's done. So I think what I'm going to do is, I know that that's got to go in like that. There's a wire here that we decided not to cut that I now think is too long, but I'm still going to leave it. But it is slightly getting in the way. So because we know we bring that part in from the top and that this is pointing up, what we now want to do, sorry, just bear with me a sec. Okay, I have a 3D print failing. Right. So because we wanted this from the facing upwards, we now need it facing down. And I'm going to bring that in from the bottom. And that is going to be impossible to screw. Can you see the screw hole there?
Oh yeah.
There you go. You're going to have to move this around. And this is that part that really breaks easily. In fact, I've seen people on YouTube break it. Right. So, and there's nowhere for this to rest. So we're going to have to do it with the P-screw in screwdriver ready. So, wish me luck, guys. Right, screwdriver nice. Whoa.
That looks very tricky indeed.
Right.
I don't understand.
Screwdriver in mouth. One part in one hand. Right. Okay, let's try a different tactic. Let's push the screw in the hole. After first fishing the part out. Yeah, you really need 3 hands for this. All right. Okay, screw is in the part. So that's going to make life a lot easier.
Yeah, it's a good point. Dave Milne just says if you've got a thinner screwdriver, so maybe the actual part work screwdriver may be better as it's thinner.
I think you might be right. However, I think I've just got a bite. There we go. I've got a bite. So I'm going to have to lift the camera up, guys, just to give me a bit more working space. So right, that's gone in fine, but I think Dave was right. in that you probably would want to use your Routemaster screwdriver. The reason I carried on with this screwdriver was because I was very nearly there anyway. So, right.
Yes,
Okay, do you
interesting.
want to have a look at the next section?
Yeah, so step
I've got to
5.
readjust all my camera and everything now and all my lighting.
All we're going to do is fit the silencer bottom 30B to the silencer top 30A. So the ends of the exhaust pipes are enclosed. So yeah, they're enclosed. The end of part 30B has a recess which goes under the brake line as indicated by the red arrow. And then it says note, the diagram on the left is a view from below, working with the subframe the right way up, fix the silencer parts together with 3 DP screws.
Right. So I think what it's done is it's done the diagram that way to show you where the part is. Oops, sorry, I got the right to show you where the part is. But because you see the screw holes are there, we actually need to access this from the top. So what I'll do is I suspect it's going to go right. There's a little notch bit there that wants to go facing the outside of the bus, which is it wants to go facing that way because in the diagram, yeah, I've actually got this the opposite way round from the magazine. So it wants to go in that way. And what we'll do, because we love to do this on the show, we'll try and put that the wrong way. And it doesn't even want to go in. Yeah, that I've nearly broke. Yeah, that really doesn't want to go in. I've nearly had to break parts off to get that in. So if it's difficult to go in, it's probably the wrong way round. Okay, so I'm going to turn that round. And we are using DP screws.
DP, yeah.
Okay, so I'll get 3 screws out ready. And so again, because it's a loose plastic part, we'll support that from the bottom. So first screw in just enough to grab. So I'll just check that is grabbing. Yep. And I personally don't see a difference which way round you work here. Where I've gone for the middle screw first, but I suppose you could equally go for either ends. The problem also is that once you got the first 2 screws in properly, you won't necessarily know if the third one has grabbed. The only way you'll really know is if it hasn't grabbed, you'll screw and screw and screw and screw, and you'll be there till next week, and it's just not connecting. So a few little turns on that one, a few little turns on the middle one, a few little turns on the outside, the other end. We'll go back to the first one. Right, that's as tight as I want to go. That's as tight as I want to go on the middle one. And we'll finish it off. That's as tight as I want to go on that one. So I'll try and get that, pull that off. Yeah, that's not going anywhere. That's those 2 pieces are solid. You can still, you've got a little bit of give because, like I say, there's plastic parts just fitted with it in a few areas. Okay.
Right, so
Section 6.
yes.
Right. And while you're describing that, I'm just turning the chassis around 180 degrees so that I'm in the same position as the magazine.
That's interesting. It won't let me blow this page up for some reason.
Can you not?
No, it lets me do it on the other ones.
Okay.
Just that one page.
Do you want me to have a go?
But no, I can see it. So take the part 30E and identify the fixing points. One end fits on a peg at the end of the exhaust manifold, 25Q, and the shaped end of the part 30E fits onto the top of the end of part 30D.
Okay. I can't find it. I can't find it. Right. I'm actually struggling to find it here. So let me try and move. Right. So this is the part we're going to connect it to. And that's going to go. I can figure this bit. There we go. I see it. Right. So that wants to go above that. Okay. I can figure out how to do it. It's just actually doing it. I don't want to know, does it? Right. So what I'm theoretically doing is the exhaust manifold here that came off the engine, which we fit last week, was it? There's a little nobule bit on the end, little locating peg. That's going to go into the end there, which means that it's got to rest on top of this bar. And I don't know if you can see it, but there's a little cutout on the bar, just roughly where my fingers are. Can you see that? There we go.
Oh, I see, yeah.
And then this part wants to go onto there. So that's all going to go underneath, but this bit is going to go above the bar, and it's manipulating it so that you can get this peg in. And there we go, finally got it. So it's going to take a bit of fiddling, but that's obviously the size of that peg. That's not going to fall out easily. And that should, did it say a push fit connection?
It doesn't actually.
Right. Treat it as a push fit connection. Look, you can see that's gone in nicely.
Yeah.
So all we need to do now is just fit. Oh, be careful. So this will move a little bit. That will help. And then we can just attach that with
2 DP screws.
Remind me what screws?
Yeah,
too deep. Of course, it's DP because it's plastic. Isn't
so
it?
step 6 was just fitting it, and then step 7 talks about how to fit it. So yeah, right. 2 DP screws.
Okay. So I've got to move the bottom bit in a little bit and the top bit out a bit, and then we will just pop that screw in just enough to make it grab. And I'll pop the other one in just enough so it grabs. And I'm going to have to move the camera up again to give myself more space. And same as before, a couple of little turns on each. Until it just comes to a natural stop. You just fall off your chair with excitement there, Horlicks?
No.
Okay, I heard a bang.
Oh, I just put my phone down on the table, that was all.
It's
sensitive, the microphone.
There we go. So there is a lot of give on this. It's not really in a position where you're going to catch it easily. but I think that there's nothing unrealistic about that. I'm not totally happy with the flash there. Give that a little scrape if you want, but obviously I'm trying to build this out of the magazine. So I believe that that is it complete then.
Yeah, it
Did
looks
you want to
like
bring
it.
up the assembly guide? There we go. You can't expand this, can you?
No, for some reason, just this page, it will not let me
Okay.
do anything with it.
It might be because of the resolution I scanned it in, but the bottom of page 4, you've got the assembly guide.
Oh,
So you
no,
can
it
see how
works
the
now.
pieces. Oh, there we go. As if by magic.
I
So
tried
there's
and
the assembly
tried.
guide. And we've pretty much worked our way down the full length of the chassis. And it is looking a beast now, isn't it?
Yeah, that does look very fiddly, that exhaust pipe system.
So just bear with me a sec, guys. I'm just... You know, I think that print is... So I've had so much trouble with my printer over the last few weeks. And I'm doing a print for a spool holder. And the first layer's gone down, not sticking to the base properly. But I thought I'll give it a go, see if it'll do, if the second layer can pick it up. And it looks like it's kind of recovering itself. So I might get away with that. Right, okay, so there's the assembly guide. Did you want to have a look at the finished view as well?
There we go.
The problem I'm finding with this is that, well, I say problem, because it's so big and we're doing small details, it's hard to spot them on the finished views. You've got to know where you're looking.
Yeah.
But that's it.
So
Yeah, that's pretty
the
much
top.
what mine looks like.
Yeah.
So
So that's the view from the top, and then as you've got yours there, Penny, and then this should be the view from underneath.
okay, and I can show you mine from the top, but not quite as good as the magazine. See, it's massive. It's just too big, isn't it? Far too big. So there we go. Not a great view because of the cameras I've got, but yeah, look. I mean, you see here I've got an A2 size cut and mat, and it's filling it, but it's really is looking good. So yeah, there you go. Right, so I have also scanned in a couple of extra pages, if Horlicks would be so kind as to pull them up for me. I don't normally, I worry a little bit about copyright issues, so I try not to show the magazine on video and that too much. But I found the article this week, it just kind of blew me away, and there's a lot of things that made me think. So on page 10, we've got technical view, the driver's cab. We've got that really nice sketch of the driver's cab. Now, if you've only ever driven a modern vehicle, like me, you'll probably find this quite odd. You've got the indicator is actually on the panel, is on the main panel next to the speedo. None of this modern flicker switch on the dash on the steering wheel malarkey. And could you do the next image for me, Horlicks, please? So there's a picture of the cab. Now you can see that just to the right of the steering wheel, you've got like a round thing with a knobbly bit on the top. That is the indicators, which I thought was rather interesting. And down on the floor, just to the left of the steering wheel, that's your switch to change from high to main beam. Which, Horlicks, didn't you say that features on another vehicle?
Oh yeah, I think they got that in a Morris Minor as well.
Right. I mean, I've never driven a Morris Minor either, but Yeah, I thought it was really interesting. Can you show us the next picture?
Yeah.
And there's a picture of the indicator in the speedo, which can you imagine having to lean down? You're driving along, trying to focus on everything on the road. Suddenly you've got to lean down just to indicate left or right. So whoops, sorry, I didn't mean to change to me there. So yeah, so what did you think of the build then, guys? Would you be satisfied with that this week? Looking at it as an individual issue, would you agree that's value for money just on that one issue? Um, I personally, I think it was worth it. We've got, we've got little details. It's just adding a little bit. So yeah, I'm really happy. So Horlicks, you've not reached the chassis yet. But
No.
we did have a comment earlier, which, do you know what? I'm going to have to go through the comments because somewhere along the lines where I moved the box, I moved my bit of paper. So I know there was two people. Now, um, you were here when we put the chassis together, weren't you?
Yes.
Now, what I found, let me change to this view. It's probably easier to talk to you. Now, what I can't even, do you know, I can't scroll the text up for some reason. I don't know why. And I've just gone live chat and I've just lost all of the chat. So right, okay. So I'm sorry, I've lost the chat. But somewhere someone was saying about, now there's been some posts in Facebook about this chassis being
Oh, and yeah,
flexible.
it was Teddy Connor. He put, "Hello
That's
all.
right.
Can I just say about people gluing the chassis to stiffen it? Need to have some flex so body panels fit. It stiffens up, etc. Once the floor is screwed in place."
Right. Now, essentially, these two chassis pieces are attached by these four screws are there. I'll bring the view in a little bit closer. So you see here you've got four screws. Now, the way that these are designed, where the screw holes are on the other side, is kind of a ring, a peg. So it's actually being supported underneath by the way that it fits in. And then it's being fastened at the top. So what actually happens, the way it is the more weight that goes down in the middle, the strong. Oh God, I've just seen the replay of the way that I described the pegs, and that didn't look good. Sorry. So it actually becomes a little bit stronger as you push down. Now, I had a little bit of a. I haven't got it anymore, but I had a little bit of a flex. And what I did was I tightened these four screws up a little bit more. And then about a week later, I got more of a flex. And then I bought this screwdriver. And you've heard Horlicks say the story as well. I gave them a quarter of a turn and they were fine. Now, we've got quite a few parts at various places where, mainly the chassis, where you can clearly see that you're going to be putting parts in on the side. Now these are only attached in one spot, but by the time we've got the chassis, I think that's all going to add quite a bit of rigid. What's the word I'm looking for? Rigidity.
Rigidity.
Yeah. This is another one where we mentioned this is the front of the bus, and that's quite loose, as you can see. But by the time you get the side bit in, and then that's attached to the chassis, you can see you've got more points of contact. So I personally, I'm against gluing the chassis together, mainly because the way mine is right now, mine's nice and rigid. If I find that's too rigid, all I've got to do is just loosen off those screws just ever so slightly, and that'll make. Do you remember when we did? I'm trying to think of the part now. Oh, it was this part here at the front. and we kept having to loosen this off because it was making these bits too tight. Do you remember
Right.
that?
Yes.
Right. And I think that might be the same with the chassis. It mine might be too tight, but if it's too tight, all I've got to do is just loosen off those screws, maybe an eighth of a turn, a 16th of a turn. But if you've glued them together and now they're too tight, what are you going to do?
Mm, that's it.
So yeah,
And
that's
obviously,
my opinion on that.
we don't know how the build's going to go yet anyway. So
No,
if we needed to glue them, the magazine would say. So yeah, I agree. I don't think there's any need for any glue whatsoever.
no. If you get to the point where we start to put the body panels on, oh there you go, I got my chat back. Um, So yeah, Teddy says it bends in the middle as you push down on it. There's a bit of give. Actually, ideally, Hachette should have supplied a brace to support it like they supply with the DeLorean. Yeah, I mean, like I say, mine's rigid, but I have had to tighten those screws up beyond. Um, Obviously, this is your Routemasters screwdriver. Um, this is the Poundland screwdriver. And this can actually, because you've got so many more heads to pick from, I was actually able to screw it up tighter than even this one can go. So yeah, if yours isn't rigid, don't worry about it for now. Um, Also, Teddy said about a brace to support it. I've had problems with my 3D printer over the last 2 weeks, but I was actually going to design one. Dave, I can't know if we mentioned it off air or on air, but Dave say when he was on before, he was talking about it, and I think this is going to be a really simple job. All I need is to make some little blocks which are going to fit there and there and there and there, and make it so that they're about a millimeter taller than the tires, so that or maybe I could make the brace, I don't know, there. We'll think of places. So that what will actually happen is that this bus will actually be that height. You see, you can't notice any difference, but it'll be about 1 millimeter off the ground, so that it's not actually um, going to be touching the ground. And then what I also want to do is make them so that they're reversible, so that one end will fit there and the other end will fit there or there, so that if you have to turn it over, because you noticed I used a cardboard box. Well, I can't keep using that cardboard box for the next 100 weeks. So, or maybe even if we just made some braces for the wheels or something, I don't know. So, but that's, I'm going to make some prototypes. I wanted to do it a while back, but I've had problems with my printer. But I'll be getting on with those in the next week or so. I may not get anything completed. The other question was uh, from forgotten who it was. It was about my short videos, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's
The
it.
reason I've stopped doing the short videos is because I was kind of getting myself into a bit of a depressive state over them. There was quite a lot going on with some other people, and my mind wasn't really into it, and I just went, I can't be bothered to do this anymore. And oh, I've just found a bit of paper. Look, I'm sorry. um, and to be honest with you, I did mention it last week. Is anybody actually missing the short Routemaster videos? Um, I don't really. I mean, I do my videos, most of my videoing on Twitch. I know some of you won't watch me on Twitch, and I totally respect that. But I tend to do the builds on Twitch. One plan I had was to take photos at each stage and then put together a montage of the videos with a voiceover. Um, but to be honest with you, the more time I'm spending on videos, the less time I'm spending doing building, which is what I actually enjoy. And that's what I want to try and get on with. And I'm doing, and I just found myself under so much pressure to get stuff done. And it was just, yeah, it just came a bit of an awkward stage of me. Why is it most builders and modelers and painters seem to go through depression or something at some stage in their life, and
Hmm.
then painting and modeling saves the day? I don't know. So
It's weird,
so
isn't it?
yeah, that's that. Do you want to add anything, Horlick? Oh, should we have a look at next week?
Yeah, we can. No,
Okay,
just going on
so
the back of that, and obviously I've had depression and things, and I get these adult colouring books. It's like a series called Relax with Art, and I sit there with
yeah,
some colouring pencils and colour it all in. And it's just something about it. It just makes everything okay, doesn't it?
yeah. Right, so I don't know if the text is actually scrolling. Um, there's a big problem with my text. So,
If you click on your three knobbles, you can.
pardon?
If you click on your three knobbles on the chat, you can have a pop-out chat window, and it's bigger and it works better.
Okay. Oh, yeah, that's much better. Right. Oh, okay. So yeah, I've found a lot of chat that I must have missed before. So right, let's change that to live chat then, so I get it all in the right order. I'm so sorry, guys. I get used to this new technology, and then suddenly technology goes, "Aha! Let's throw something new at you." Then I think it's because my computer's not a great one. Right. So I can't seem to scroll. So I've got the top, the first line I've got is 32 souls saying it's going to be a job just to move it when the build moves on. I feel a hernia coming on,
Yeah.
lol. Um, so yeah, Teddy Connor looks like he's happy with the way I explained that. Um,
Yeah, Chris,
32 souls.
I've gone further up, and Teddy Connor said, I don't know if you've seen it, he drove one of these, and it's a real driving experience. Um, that is called a dip switch,
Yeah.
the thing on the floor. Teddy's Land Rover has a floor mounted high beam. I didn't know that. Because that's
Ah.
classed quite. I mean, even the older ones I find are quite modern. Um, Teddy says it's a good issue this week. Chris Campion said not much but big details. Dave Saper, easy build week and worth it really.
Yeah. I mean,
Um,
it's quite a nice little break actually from last
yeah.
week. I think if we'd have had two issues on the trot like last week, I think it would have just been. I could actually put people off. I think.
32 soul per. I hope there's not going to be too much turning of the chassis to fit parts, especially now the engine is in.
I think once we get the floor of the inside in, that'll be it done for the engine.
Mm-hmm. Stuart Sullivan said he's still got flex, so I assume that means the chassis. Yeah, Teddy put yes, it bends in the middle as you push down on it. There's a bit of give. Ideally, Hachette should have supplied a brace to support it, like they supplied with the DeLorean. Oh, and that's where you've got up to, wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean I did see the bit about the brace. I think what's happening is my chat doesn't seem to be scrolling down, so I might miss chat. I do apologize.
Have you got a blue arrow icon at the bottom in the middle?
No, I'll tell you what I've got. Um, I don't know if I've accidentally pressed something. Let me get my camera and I can show you. Look at I'm giving away all my secrets here now. So Right. So that's my main computer. You see, I got my mug there. So that's the main computer I work off. And then this is my second computer. And what I'm getting is, I get all of this.
So you click on your knobbles, your three knobbles, and do pop-out chat.
Yeah, I did that, but it doesn't seem to be scrolling in the chat. As you can see, my computer does take ages to load, but it goes to top chat. And I'm trying to change it to live chat so that I get the messages as they come. And as you see, it's just not wanting to load up.
Right, your mind does. But on the other, that screen you were just on, go back to the normal one. I'm on top chat myself, and it
Right.
scrolls.
Okay, I'm just going to type something in the chat. Oh, there we go. There we go. As soon as I type something. Oh, I've got it all back. Brilliant. I'm back to normal.
Okay,
Oh,
and then when you're done, there's a blue arrow. You click that to
yes.
resume auto scroll.
Yeah. Okay. That's not bad. My camera always changes every time I move it. Focus, focus, focus. Psh. Right. So, okay, let's go back to a point I know where we're up to. Right, very satisfied I'd be. My Land Rover has a floor mount high B. Good issue, Teddy says. Uh, Chris Campbell, not much but big details. Easy build week, but worth it really. Yes, you have to expect these smaller bits. Now, are you guys happy with less to do if it adds a lot more detail, or would you rather have the big bits to make, like when we had the 2 weeks where we had two bits of chassis, and suddenly it grew from about that big to suddenly it was like, whoa, what issues are the best ones for you? Um, so yeah, 32 Soul says that the hope is not going to be too much turning. The chassis to fit parts still have flex. Bends in the middle as you push down on it. There's a bit of give. Chris Campling says best screwdriver he's had. Yeah, I think we should really have a kickback from Amazon, shouldn't we? We've recommended that screwdriver so many times, haven't we?
Mm-hmm.
Um,
And I know a lot of people
no.
that bought it as well. So
Yeah, I love it. I absolutely love it. I really do. And I use it on when you buy, well, the 3D printer I've got, you get a series of these Allen keys. And they're all right, to be honest with you. They are very Chinesium, but they're pretty good. But this is better, so much better. Um, so yeah, bending the chassis is a worry until the floor. So yeah, so basically, once we fix the floor to the chassis, it's going to add an extra point of support. And then once we add the body panels, I think there's going to be even more support. So I'm not overly worried. I just don't like. Let me show you what I mean. I'm not a massive fan of my chassis sitting like this, which is why I've been storing it on top of a cardboard box for many weeks now, actually, probably since we put the chassis in. It's just by having the cardboard box, it just lifts it off the ground like that a little bit, and it just makes me happier. It may not make any difference, but I'm happier. Best a bit bigger for when the engine is upside down. Temporary base would be a good idea. So yeah, I'm anticipating that it's probably going to cost me 20 pence to make four little bricks for this. What do you reckon, Horlicks?
yeah, it sounds about right. And
Yeah,
as I said last week, like as I say, I don't know if it was live or not. With the DeLorean, it comes with them for when you're working on it. It comes with them to support the chassis while you're working on the DeLorean. So once the build's
yeah,
done, it could be that I could use those. But until I've had the chassis, I can't measure it out, see
yeah.
if they fit. But
And let's be fair here. How do we know we're not getting some with the bus?
mm,
We might get some in a future issue. We don't know.
yeah,
Uh,
mine came out quite late. in the DeLorean build. So yeah, there is a chance.
Yeah. Teddy Connor's going to put a picture up on Facebook group to give you an idea of what to do. That would be really, really helpful. So in the link in the description of this video, I finally managed to update all of the links. So if you're not on the Facebook group, look at the description down below. There is a link to the Facebook group. Get on it. It's brilliant. There is a couple of people that like to post spoilers. But what I've found is it tends to be the same people. So if you're not into, personally, I don't want to see pictures on a Tuesday. So I tend to not look. So when it says so and so, a notification from so and so, I just ignore it. So don't worry about that too much. Um, so right. Oh, there's been more chat building up as I've are you sure it's not? No, that definitely is not a start button because I looked at it and I thought that can't be. And I if you read the magazine, it does tell you yeah, it's thrown me a bit. So Love Mini says it's super. Teddy Connor says, yeah, I'm happy. Gives you a break from having small, easy issues. Yep. But I like the easy issues because they give you a bit of a break. But then I yearn for the complicated ones again. So just bear with me. Looks fiddly, but worth time and effort. Small builds add detail and really makes a big difference. Loving the build. Nice to have a mixture of issues. Just put the picture on Facebook group with simple brace. Oh, so you've already done one. That'd be brilliant. I might copy that. Getting the monthly build parts is very frustrating. Well, Stuart, my videos stay up. I never remove them. But obviously it'd be so much nicer if you had it in front of you and we could all build along. But yeah, that's the problem with subscriptions. You get them for weekly. Um, I've decided to take the chance and get my issues from the newsagents. But I know full well that I could walk into the newsagents one day um, and it's not in. And I don't even think about it. I don't know what I'm going to do if it's not in. I think if we have an issue that hasn't come in, I'm either going to have to chuck a message on. We'll have to have a surprise guest who's going to do the building for us, or we'll have to visit a historical issue. I really don't know. I go all religious on a Wednesday and I pray that the issue's in. My wheel wobble, I haven't sorted that out. My Newport build, it's been unassembled now, but my Newport build seems a little bit less wobbly. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, yeah, it's not a good fit. That's my only bugbear with this. But I'm gonna leave it because I'm gonna position it when it's on display. I'm gonna position the wheels turned like that, so that you can see the tires and that. But it's gonna sit on the shelf, so I'm not overly worried. If it was designed to be a precision instrument, then yeah, I'd probably complain.
Yeah, and as I said, like last week or week before, I mean, if it does tickle your fancy, you could try and use the new screwdriver to see if you can get an extra turn on that screw. Um,
Ah, do you know what? I will do that in post production. I'll give it a go because I've had those caps off. And if you're a little bit careful, they're not difficult to get off. But if you go in there with big bits of metal and try and dig them out, you're just going to have a terrible time. But yeah, I can get those off. So, which issues do the spoilers come in? Well, every issue tells you what to expect in the next issue, obviously. But we have got a couple of people on Facebook who are they're posting what they get. They seem to get their issues on a Tuesday, and they post pictures and stuff on the Tuesday. So, to be honest with you, I tend to ignore Facebook on a Tuesday, but I don't mind seeing it on a Wednesday. It's probably insane jealousy that um, I don't get my issues on a Tuesday. Um, but I'll tell you a funny story. I have on technically two occasions my magazines come in Tuesday. The first week that I got it from W.H. Smith's, I went in on Wednesday and they said, "Oh, it came in yesterday." And I said, "Oh, lovely. I wish I'd come in." And then about 8 or 9 weeks later, I always go in on Tuesday. Just so I used to go in on a Tuesday just to see if it's come in because it's literally around the corner from where I work, so it's not really any major time. And I went in and it came in. It was in on a Tuesday once, and I had to sit here all Tuesday, all Wednesday morning, looking at this magazine, knowing full well I couldn't open it because I was saving it for the show. And it was terrible. It really was awful. It's like sitting looking at your Christmas presents on Christmas Eve, and you all you want to do is just open them. So I vowed never to pick it up on a Tuesday, even if it's in. But there is a woman at WH Smith. She's a bit of a, can I say it on air? She's a bit of a cow, bit of a grumpykin, and she's like, "Don't know why you come in Tuesday. It's never in on a Tuesday. It's due in on Wednesday." And I go, "All right, I'm just popping in just to see if it's in." And one day it's going to come in on a Tuesday, and I'm going to say to her, "Look, see, it does come in on a Tuesday sometimes."
Yeah. Well, it's a bit like that for me at the moment, though, Penny, because obviously with my delay I've had, I'm sitting here looking at the later issues, and I've got four of them staring at me.
Oh God, that must be awful.
But
Because you must be tempted to put them apart, put them together, but at the same time, you don't want to put them together until you've got previous week.
that's it, because I don't know if I need screws, and I don't want to damage it. So
Yeah, yeah. So, oh, sorry. Right. A spoiler is someone who tells you something um before it actually happens and before you've got a chance to watch it. So, if let's say, oh, it goes the new Equalizer movie. This isn't what actually happens, but there's a new Equalizer movie come out. So if I said to you, "Oh, you've got to watch the new Equalizer movie," he gets his head blown off at the end. That's a spoiler. I've told you what's happened before you've had a chance to look. Um, Now, I personally don't have a problem with spoilers um, on the Wednesday because that is the day of release. And if you've not got it, well, it becomes public information anyway. I'm not a big fan of them on, pre-release. So Teddy says his issues arrive on the news edge on a Tuesday, but I pick up on Thursday. Well, that makes a lot of sense. So Teddy, how do you feel about knowing? Well, you watch this show, so you obviously don't have a problem with knowing on the Wednesday. Right. So yeah, shall we have a good look at next week's issue then?
yeah,
Not going to spoil. So if you don't like spoilers, look away now. Alan, don't forget your bins. Do you know what? Last week, I did actually forget to take the bins out. And I thought, well, that's all right. There's loads of us in the house. Someone will take them out. And um, yeah, and no one took the bins out. And the bin men came and didn't empty them. So, right. Okay. So if you hate spoilers, tough luck on this one because we're not telling you anything more than this issue contains. So this is a picture of next week, and the text says the rear wheel arches complete with mud flaps are assembled and attached to the subframe. And what do you think to that? I like the look of that.
yeah, yeah. Makes it look more complete.
Yeah. I mean, at the moment there's not. Obviously, you've got the scale and stuff, but at the moment it doesn't look a lot different from a truck or anything like that. And I, on one of my bus routes, we do go past a place. They have you heard of the trucks Man? And we go past one of their dealers, and they've got a couple of trucks outside, and that picture there is pretty much what they look like, because that's the
Yeah,
bare bones. That's
back of the
usually
unit.
how you yeah, that's usually how you buy them, and then you send them off to a body shop where they then add in the body. And it's the same with buses or new buses. You only really get the chassis, the engine, and the cab, and all the sides and the seats. That gets done as you, yeah, that all gets done by a body shop. So
Yeah, no, I mean, I was that also looks like, yeah, like a lorry unit where you put the
yeah.
attach the trailer on.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, obviously this is a little bit longer, but up to that point, these are looking the same. So of course, when I see these lorries, it kind of reminds me of this build. Hello, Aaron, how are you? Um, right, so we have quite a lot of time left to talk about drivel. So, as compared to last week, where we had no time at all, and we had quite a lot to talk about, and I can't remember what we needed to talk about. Um, the old principal ladder chassis. So, Teddy, does that mean that you've got like a bare bones chassis, and then you just bolt things onto it that you want? So, yeah, Stuart's laughing. Anything you guys wanna? Yeah, no worries, Dave. Thanks for watching. Hopefully, we will have Dave on the show again in a couple of weeks, which we always love having Dave on, don't we? And I'm still looking for other guests. I'm looking for what would be this week and then every 4 weeks, not necessarily the same guest every month, but someone just to come on the show and just chat about the build. Even if they don't have video capabilities, we can still just chat to them.
Mm.
Uh, Otherwise, we just might have to have Dave on every single week, because I run out of things to talk about.
It is
So
difficult, isn't it?
yeah, yeah. So have I gotten my? Yes. I've got. This is why I love minis. Love minis is very good at prompting me. Um, yeah, yeah, I'm going to completely change the subject. I hope this is this month's. Yeah, it is. I get. Has anybody heard of anything along the lines of loot box or loot crate, anything like that? It's a series of boxes where you pay a small monthly fee, and then every month you get a mystery box. You don't know what's going to be in it. Um, oh, I'll come to that in a sec, Dave. I did forget about that. I do apologise. Um, yeah, so basically every month you get what depends what you signed up for. If you sign up for Star Trek box, you'll get Star Trek goodies, but you don't know what they're going to be. And you usually find that you're getting it cheap because you don't know what you're getting. But if you bought each item separately, it would have been more expensive. And I sign up for I sign up for three, but this is one that I sign up for, which is just paint. I used to use only one brand of paint, and I know there's more out there. Uh, no, it's a short answer. Love minis. So I subscribe to a thing called Asset Drop, and what they've sent me this month is lots of paint. Now, one of the things that I've got is soot black, so I think this is going to be going on the bus at some point on my Newport bus.
On the
Come on,
exhaust pipe.
focus. Yeah. I've also got in another box some blue exhaust, like bluing. I might have shown you this before. It's very, very subtle. Uh, but along there, you can see it a little bit. See those pipes? I've just added this bluing. So there's some really good things that comes. Obviously, you get some stuff that isn't really useful for buses, like you've got here. This is a set of paints to paint fire with, and then you've got some for painting blonde hair. That's not going to be that useful. And more blonde stuff and more yellows. Now, also, do you want me to talk about this next week? Because there's a nice little product here. I've been asked to review it and I've not got around to doing it. I will be putting a video up. We've got these tank brushes. Now, the way I do weathering is this is totally the wrong color, but I use these shades. They don't all, you can get various different manufacturers. See if I've got one. There we go. This one's by Army Painter. There's a company called Secret Weapon that do. Secret Weapon have now become my favorite shades. But rather than applying these with a brush, we've got, let's open it up. Let's have a good look. So what you can do is you can fill that up with a shade, and then these screws they turn the wrong way around for me. So you see you've now got a brush. So if you wanted to weather in some of the corners, the edges, you can paint where you want. But saying that, I use acrylic paints and not oil paints. I know the way a lot of people do weathering is to slap an oil base up on and then try and rub it off. Whereas I go more for the paint method. So if you want me to go into some more detail, the next time we have a slower issue, I can probably fill a space talking about things like washers. If you want to. So Dave Milne has said about where I think the wiring will go. I've got to be honest with you. I have absolutely no idea. But based upon other part works that I've seen and part works that I'm doing, they usually go into gaps that you don't see.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, actually, I am surprised that we haven't fitted a battery box yet, because I'm assuming that the batteries are going to go from underneath.
Yeah, unless they go, I don't know, in the roof, or I don't know. I really don't know, because see, like the Millennium Falcon, the screws need tightening. What, these ones? Or anyway, you see, the Millennium Falcon is being built kind of from the middle. Then you've got bits being built, and then it's going to kind of come together in two halves, and then obviously your battery packs go in the middle. Now, because we've already built the cockpit, we've got the lighting in there, so we've already got the battery pack. Your R2D2, didn't you get some electronics quite early?
Yes, with the battery pack I got with the R2D2, which is the same as you with the Falcon, that is purely just for testing.
Yeah.
That doesn't actually go into the final build.
No, but I assume you're going to get like the battery pack, the final bits quite late on.
Yeah.
The pack you get is just to test each individual bit.
Yeah, I mean, there's a bit of a hoo-ha at the moment regarding the R2D2, because it doesn't actually come with normal batteries. You have to buy the battery pack separately, which is going to be an extra cost. And they're using 18650 batteries, which is actually, I've got some here. They're basically like in an e-cigarette, but they're different types because these are raised ones. Sorry, these are flat ones. See, the positive's flat.
Right. Yeah.
And then the ones that are going in R2D2 are the same, but they're button top ones. So there's a lot of people going on eBay trying to find batteries, and it's not a good idea. These are not batteries to be skimping on because they can go up like anything.
Yeah.
So
I think Stuart's just raised a really good point about where the battery might go. And just adjust the camera. Right, what we've got here, you've already done this bit as well, Horlicks. You've got the stairs. Now, that obviously that's going to be the back. Oops, got the light in the way. Sorry. That's going to be the back of the bus. This is going to be the rear offside, and there's a big gap in there. So that looks a really good place to put a battery pack, and then the wires can probably maybe part of these is where a clip will go, so they can perhaps come underneath. Do you think that would work?
yeah, that could be an
Let's
option.
see if I can have a play, because that's going to go.
Well, actually, it could go the way R2 is. I was talking about those batteries just now. Are those huge batteries? R2 is, I believe, going to take either 4 or 6 of those,
Right.
and you need to charge them all up, put them in a battery pack, and then it gets secured inside somewhere. And then all you've got on the outside is like a charge port.
Right. Okay. So if you're going to get a charge port, they can
That's
actually put the batteries anywhere they want because you don't need access to them.
Yeah, well, yeah, they could go anywhere, and then you just. But I don't know if that's the way it's going to go. It's too early to tell.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then you go to the DeLorean, and then it's just a few AAAs that go in the bottom. And we've already fitted the battery door because that was part of the chassis.
Yeah.
So yeah, it'd be interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and I think I've just figured out where this rear panel's going to go. Rear steps. Because looking at this bit here, that little gap there, it looks like that seems a sensible place there. So I'm liking this gap here for things. So I wonder if that's where everything's going to originate from. So, but I'm just looking at the screw holes. There's not a good. Oh, way up, yep, up, yep. There's a fairly good line up there. So, yeah. So the Shelby, is it worth having then? The Shelby, Shelby, because I might be looking at another build. I might not. Great place to hide them on Shelby. Yeah, yeah. No, I mean we did a big old speculation quite a few weeks back, and some of the things that we speculated were pretty obvious. Some we got right and some we got wrong. And I thought that was good fun actually having that little speculate, but it seems to be getting harder to speculate anything new. I mean, obviously we can guess where the engine's go and we can guess where the driver's cab is going. But yeah, with because obviously I'm not doing the 3D printer anymore because I've gone out and bought one. How are you getting on with yours, Chris Camping? I know you released a video. You've got the whole printer in one go.
Yeah, I think I know the answer for him. He's just moved, so he hasn't had a chance yet because he's obviously
right.
literally just moved house. So he's going to get to it in the next few weeks, but I think he's going to have problems with his internet, so he can't upload anything.
Oh, I remember him saying something about it's going to be about 2 weeks before he gets internet.
Yeah,
So,
but I know he said earlier on the chat that he hadn't used the screwdriver apart from furniture, so he hasn't used it on a model yet. So I'm guessing he hasn't started it yet.
Right. Sorry, Teddy's just said about the DB5. The problem I've got with the DB5 is that you can only get it as a completed build. Now, I really haven't got the money to buy a completed build, and secondly, I don't want a completed build. I want to build it myself. I'm really envious of Chris Campling having I mean, the box he's got his printer in. It's big enough to get in, and he's just got all of these packets. And I bet he's going to be there just for a day figuring out what bit goes with what. Um, and I just think that's brilliant. Um, but yeah, I'm if I can get the DB5 as a part work, I'd be really tempted because that does look good. I thought I was going to be getting the DB5 because I had a guy. He said he's got the complete part works for he said a James Bond car. And of course, I was stupid enough to make a video saying coming soon to my channel. And then when I went to sort out the next bits out, he said, "Oh no, that's not it." And he told me what it was, and it turns out to be the McLaren racing car, which is nothing like James Bond's car. So I just kind of kept quiet about that one. But yeah, I was a bit silly. I jumped ahead there. But yeah, I'd like to do it. But I've also heard rumors about. I mean, they're only rumors, but the X-wing. Well, the X-wing has gone into test. That test finished ages ago. And the rumor is that that will be starting when the R2D2 finishes. I'd like to do the R2. It's looking fantastic, but it's an older part work, so I might pick up the R2D2 when either the Harley or the Millennium, well, the Millennium Falcon and the Harley is the same stages. So I might do the R2D2 after one of my other older builds. And there's another one I'm hearing of.
I
I
hope
can't.
I hope R2 can make me a cup of tea.
Sorry,
Pardon?
what did you just say?
I said I'm hoping R2D2 can make me a cup of tea when it's done.
Oh, that'd be good, won't it? Um, I'm also going to tell you something that I just heard VW Samba Megabus is it due? Love Minis. No, I haven't bought anything. Also, I'm struggling with money at the moment. I got this overdraft, and I'm really bad with money. I'm one of these people that'll go, "Oh, I got 50 quid in my account. What can I spend it on?" So
I'm the same. I'm the same.
I keep looking at my money manager, and I'm like, "Yeah, I'll have my overdraft cleared in a month," and then I'm really good for a week or two, and then I'll go. Okay, well, it don't matter if I pay it off in 5 weeks. So what I am going to be doing is I've had a word with the bank, and they won't automatically reduce my overdraft. To be honest with you, it's not in their interest to. The bigger my overdraft is, the more money they make. So what I'm going to do is on the first day of every month. No, I didn't buy the race car because the amount of money we negotiated, I wanted the race car for less money because the race car is cheaper than the DB5, and the guy wouldn't budge. So I just went, well, okay, fine. I've got enough on as it is, and there's future stuff coming out. Um, but yeah, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be cutting my overdraft by 50 quid every month. So it'll take a long time, but I'm very good at keeping within my overdraft. I'm just not so good at um, keeping it a long way from my overdraft. So yeah, that's a skill that I'm going to have to learn. But listen, I have found a French website, and you can buy the magazines from this website. It's a lot more expensive, but there's a model that I spotted about 6 months ago, and I will do absolutely anything to get it. And it's the F-14 Tomcat, and I am seriously considering buying it. I don't know if it will ever come to Britain, but apparently the French are really big into their part works. But the F-14 Tomcat is my favourite aircraft of all time, and it's 13 quid an issue, which is really, really expensive. But you know, so I'm debating whether to get it. I might get like 5 issues a month, and then I'll build one part a week. Um, so especially since work has just announced that they're giving us kind of a pay rise at work, they're now so desperate for drivers, that they're paying us good money to do overtime, and I already do 1 day overtime a week anyway. Um, so really, the DS with the working air suspension, that sounds awesome, and the Renault 4. Isn't there a 2CV out there as well? I'd love to get that. There's so many I'd love to get. Also the DC3, but yeah, it's trying to coordinate. I love having a new part work. This is one of the reasons why I love the Routemasters. Um, right, have I the name of the French company? Not not offhand. I can't remember. Let me see if I can. I'll do a quick search. Um, build the F-14 Tomcat. I know it begins with J, if that helps. Right. Part work. Oh, they've got a Lego F-14. Right. Okay, I've just found a forum post, and it says you won't get the only way you'll get hold of it is via Japan, which isn't quite true. No. Oh, yeah. No. The short answer is not at the moment. F-14 magazine. Oh! I might have. No.
I found the site, but wow, it's in Japanese.
Okay.
Which is that.
Right. Oops. That. Yeah, that looks like that is the part work. I've lost my control of my mouse now. Right, that looks like the part work that I'm after, but I found it on a French website. It's one of these places that do. Um, oh, I tell you what. Right, sorry guys. Right, I'm sure I can. Can I get up history on Google Chrome? There I can. Right, history. Oh God. Search. I know it begins with J. Tomcat. Does anyone know how to get old history on your phone?
Yes. Okay, so I'm just getting up as well. The three dots.
Oh, I think I found it. I
And
think
history.
I found it. Right. I know I last looked a couple of weeks ago. Tom. Sorry, guys, I've just made the show really, really boring. But 21st of July, that can't be that far back.
There's a German site.
No, I know it's a French site.
Right. I've just seen a video on YouTube and he looks German, but then
Okay.
he could have got it from.
Let's look up F14. No. Oh, yeah, have I got the tab? Oh, I've actually closed the tab down. Oh, this is annoying. Right, okay. www.j. Oh, I'm sure it began with J. Nope. Okay, guys, look, I will make it my homework to find that. Oh, I think I just found out, remembered where to partwork forum. Partwork previews. I think I just figured out where to get it from. X-Wing Terminator. That's another one that's going to be coming out at some point.
Yeah, I did subscribe to that, and it's a bit naughty, but I only wanted issue 1. But
Yeah.
I didn't even get. It hasn't even. I haven't even received it. So.
Tomcat. Got it. Found it. Right. I have found the site. Let me see if I can find
This one. I found it on Hachette.
You can't get it from them though. They won't dispatch. Right. Let me. Where do I search? What's French for search? Vehicles. Translate to English. Models. Here we go. Right. Got it. I have got it. I am brilliant. Right. So, got to find this chat now. Paste. And there you go. That is the website, guys. So that is €12.99. And I would absolutely love to get that. If I could get, say, 5 issues a month. But they seem to have... Oh, no, they don't. They have one number 1. Yeah, got 2 number 2s, 2 number 3s, and the dates are all weird. So I don't know if they re-released it.
Oh, I see that. Yeah.
Yeah. See, I thought if I got 5 issues a month and 1 month they can't get hold of an issue, I should hopefully have built up a backlog.
Oh no! I get it. It says in the
What's
small
that?
print underneath. It says N and then the number. So it's got N105, 11th of April. That looks like.
Yeah.
Then 105, 104, 103.
Do you know what? I've just seen one here that's just perked my attention. The mythical bus. The Renault TN6C2. Oh. Your new dollhouse. How's that one sound?
Hmm.
Oh, no, that's Citroen Type H. There's a guy building that on YouTube, and that looks quite good. So, yeah, there's another bus there we could build. So that sorry, Soul 32 Soul has said about it's a good build. Is that the mythical bus? Why has my printer stopped? My printer's just stopped mid print.
Oh,
2 hours in, and it's just stopped.
how did you print?
Pardon?
How did you print? Is it over Wi-Fi?
No, it's printing via Octoprint. Well, that's odd, isn't it? It hasn't finished. It's saying printing. Unless the power cables come out of the. Oh, I'm worried now. No, the everything's on.
Maybe the
Oh,
maybe the Raspberry Pi's blown up.
no, it's still working. I wonder if it's got like. I don't know. It has done this before. Oh. Now it can't load up. That's new, isn't it? Am I still broadcasting okay?
Seems okay.
Yeah, I just wonder why. That's interesting. I can't reach the Pi. Sorry, Pi is a little computer
Hmm.
that I attached the Pi, was it BlackBerry Pi or something it's called? Yeah,
Raspberry
there's a
Pi.
problem. It's a problem with the Raspberry Pi, BlackBerry, Raspberry, whatever. It's all the same thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's all straight. Pay your bills. Yeah, I don't know. Well, I'm just gonna have to abandon the print. It's only been about 2-3 hours. But obviously, there's a problem with the Pi. So, don't know. That's a bit of a disappointment, isn't it?
Is it warm?
No, it's no more warmer than I'm expecting. The fans are still running. There's power on the printer, but I can't reach. I can't reach the Raspberry on the computer, so it's going to need a reboot, isn't it?
Hmm. That must have crashed or something.
Yeah, that's got to be what it is. Right. So it's a shame actually because I've had about a month of not being able to print anything, and then today I've managed to print two little things. They're not superb quality, but they are functional. And today I've been trying to do a spool holder because I think the positioning of my spool, it's all getting knotty and that. But that's where am I? Where am I? That's where I'm up to on the print. which is a bit of a disappointment. At
Yeah.
least if it had finished these off, because I'm having trouble getting it to stick to the bed. And so I put it on a raft, and what this is going to be is, oh, that comes off quite nicely, actually. This is going to go on top of the printer. Oops. And the spool is going to sit on the top. This is going to be a great big spit. It's going to be about that long. And then these are the caps on the end. Oh, I'm really impressed with that. So this is going to be like really long, and it'll screw into these to hold it in place. But these are only going to be about that fat. So if it could have just got another halfway, at least when I do the reprint, I've only got to do this and this. But I did one. This was really disappointing. I did this. This is what it's going to look like minus these bits. So this will build up to that thickness, but you can see it failed to print this far from the end. Let me rip that off because that's not going to work anyway. Right, so can you see how close I was to finishing it?
Yeah.
If it had just got to that there, that would have been fine. I did that on 100% infill. That is 100% pure plastic because I wasn't sure how strong it was going to be. So that's disappointing, but you know, that's how it goes. I don't think that's a problem with the print. I think that's a problem with the Raspberry Pi.
So maybe it might be worth thinking about not using that when you're doing longer prints.
Yeah, yeah, but I've used it for longer prints. This is what I don't get. It goes through a stage of working. I'm just going to set this to print. Oh, I've got to connect. So, well, it's connecting to it now anyway. So, bottom tray, temperature. But we'll see what happens in a little while because, yeah. Okay, guys. So look, it's coming up for 10 o'clock and we're talking about part works from another country. Remind me. Oh, what machine? Right, I'll show you. This is a Creality CR10. And I've had so many problems with it, but it's, excuse the mess, but basically you've got this is a 3D printer. What I'm trying to do is mount the spool on the top, but it's I'll see if hopefully it'll start working in a minute. And then you've got a little control box there, but I've printed this off and it's got like a Raspberry Pi in it. So let me show you the control system I have on the computer. So I can't see anymore, so I'm hoping you guys can see. This is all like the control panel, and I can load up.
Can you not use the screen share?
Yeah, do you know what? That was actually a really good idea. Why didn't I come up with that? Oh. Right, so hopefully.
So.
Yeah, so this is my control panel from the computer. So I can do all sorts of weird things. So this is a picture of layer by layer of what I'm about to print. Don't want to sync. There we go. So this is an outline of what I'm going to be printing. You can see how many layers it's going to be, and then you can move it up and see what each individual layer will look like. I haven't figured this out yet, but there's a program called time lapse. So I can actually hook a webcam up that will record the sequences. There we go, it's off. So what I'll do is I'll switch. Stop sharing. All right, where are we? Oh, it's because it's there. So that's now. Focus. Focus. There we go. So it's now starting to print. And basically, a 3D printer works exactly the same way as a 2D printer. Um, it's not. I think I was watching something on YouTube, and it was saying like it's not really a 3D. It's just lots and lots and lots of 2D prints. So it prints the bottom layer, and then it prints the next layer on the top, and then the next layer. So if you got any object and you sliced it 0.2 millimeter thick, that's what each individual layer looks like. And then that print I'm doing there will hopefully turn out looking like that. And this is it's a paint pot holder. See, I've got the Marstormer paints in there. Yeah, so that's basically it, and that's basically what Chris Campbelling has just bought and will be building. Too low. Except that what I've done is I've gone out and bought a different brand, and I bought it all in one go. This isn't a partwork printer. This is just a complete thing. But I got a really good deal on it. It was £300, which is roughly the price of that particular machine anyway. But the company that I bought it from, I just went, sod it, I'll apply for the finance, and I've got it on 6 months interest-free credit. If I don't pay £300 in 6 months, it goes over to a £10 a month finance plan, which is next to nothing. So I just thought, well, it's there. The only problem with this particular print, I was discussing with Horlicks before the show began. I've come to the conclusion that you want to be looking at spending about £600 on a printer. If you spend less than £600, you're going to be spending that balance on upgrades. Let me show you one upgrade. You can see there's a gold bit there. That's just cost me 50 quid. The original part, which I can't find. Basically, the stock one is plastic, and there's a little spring in there that holds this bit. You need that tight. When you change, the filament comes in through the back there, and then it feeds through here into the nozzle. If that spring wears out, what it does is it pushes this closed so that the filament can't go through. And the part that comes with there is quite a poorly made part. So this is what half of my problems have been about. Also, the spool holder, it mounts on top of the machine here, which means you're restricted. You've got to put the machine next to the spool holder. So I've been trying to print a new one off so I can put the spool on the top. So I've got a bit of a problem. Well, you can see I've got this problem with this spool. It's getting all tangled. I think I've stored it badly because these get tangled up quite easily. So yeah, if you buy a cheap printer, obviously the way they get the cost of the printer down is to use cheaper parts. Yeah, Horlicks has got a much better one than me, but he's also got the partwork one, which he's. Do you want to tell us all about yours, Horlicks, as people are interested?
Yeah, well, yeah, I've got. I did the Eagle Moss Vector 3 3D printer, and it was okay to a fashion. It did a print, but it was awful quality. It just wasn't good. It was very liney. So I've since obtained an Ultimaker 2, which is up of £1,000 worth of printer, and I've had a very good deal on that from work because they did a clearance. They had to clear a unit out. So I managed to grab one of them, and I haven't had loads of play with it, but I've printed a few bits off, and it's just absolutely amazing, the quality. I mean, I think I showed some of you on our last Routemaster. I've printed this vice, and it works absolutely brilliantly, and it's so smooth. I think you can see that, but the detail on the handle, it's just amazing. And this is off the Ultimaker 2. So after I got that, I thought, I know my challenge is to get the partwork printer working just as good, or well, it won't never be as good, but better. And I've just spent probably about £30 to £40 on upgrades for it, and I'm really impressed. It's come leaps and bounds from just, you know, from how they've supplied it. So yeah, that's about it really. And all, you know, the only other thing I'll say is obviously I am excited to see about Chris's printer.
Yeah.
But I'm a bit concerned because I don't quite know how a printer is going to work very well without a heated bed. All the trouble we've had with heated beds and getting the temperature right, I'm not quite sure how it's going to work with one that you haven't got any control over. It's just going to be cold. But I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
I'm certainly
Stuart,
interested.
are the spools expensive? The ones I buy from, they're £20 a roll, and I buy 2 rolls at a time because then I get parcel force delivery, and then I wait till I'm basically what I do is most of my prints are done in white, and then once I use my last white one, I'll then order another one, and they'll last me. Well, I've been printing because it's a new toy. I've been printing like mental. Sorry, let me put it back to me because yeah. Yeah, I've been printing like mad, and I've been printing things like these paint racks, which these are an ongoing project. So I've pretty much had the printer running non-stop. This is something I don't know if I've shown anyone before. I printed this off. This is absolutely brilliant. This is a money box, but you open it by following the maze. And I can't remember the combo now. See if I can do it. It's here somewhere. There we go. I'm gonna get it. I will get it. There we go. It's there. One of these days, I'm going to smash it open, I think. There we go. So it's a maze. And so obviously there's nothing in it because I've never got enough money to put in there. But yeah, I've just been printing stuff off non-stop. I printed off I printed off a webcam stand. I printed off a little box to go on the printer. So yeah, at the moment I'm spending about 20 quid a week on filament, but I am pretty much running it non-stop.
This was my last project that I've printed. Remember, it's my music box.
Oh, that was fantastic. Have you got a balloon for it?
But this is a combination of the partwork printer, and the yellow parts are off from the Ultimaker because the whistles and all the really fine detaily bits I've had to print with the Ultimaker because my other one just wouldn't touch it.
I will say I claim no credit for the designs. I just downloaded these off the internet and printed them off. It's that simple. You can find something and do what they call. Are you right?
Yeah, the balloon pot.
Oh no.
I can blow into it.
Yeah, go on, give us a play.
Yeah, it's not very good. I think you have to have the right pressure, but I don't know if you heard any of that. But it does work with a balloon.
Yeah, I can say I've heard it, and it's brilliant. It plays a really good rendition of "Mary Had a Little Lamb."
Yeah, but it was just I was just curious if it would work. You know, all the parts. You turn the handle and it turns the music
Yeah,
cylinder, and then it
that's
in
really good.
inside there. There's like these valves, and then it blows the air up. It took me a lot of attempts to print those tubes, to be honest. But yeah, it's something to add to my little collection.
Most of the file extensions that I'm using, we use a program called Slicer, and what it does, it takes that design, and then it slices it into slices, and then it converts it to what's called G code, and the printer uses the G code. It's just basically what you're doing is you're taking like a CAD file, and then you're converting the file to enable something to do something with it, and then you're converting it to another file so that the printer can read it. And all
Mm.
G code is just it's telling the printer to move the nozzle to this point, eject a little bit of plastic, then move along to somewhere else, stop ejecting, lift up, go left, go right, and it's just a series of commands. Um, but I say most all of these. I have done one modified file. I'll show you this. This is my first remix. I showed you this today, Horlicks, didn't I?
Yes.
What I got was um, I'll try and hide up the bit I've done. Like what this is a pliers rack to put things like pliers and stuff on. And you've got this end piece, and you need two of those, and then you need to put a piece of rod through, 4mm rod, which then provides the little shelves. I couldn't find any rod, so I just went sod it and I made my own. But I made it too long because I've only been a modeler, I only got a few sets. So what I did is I took this end piece and I've added a box onto it. So you see there, I've got part pliers, and so I can put things like my files and knives and pens in there. And that's my first remix. So I'm really proud of this. It took about 5 minutes to do. And as you can see, I didn't get the sides level. One's fatter than the other, but it worked. So I'm happy. And I'm actually going to be my next project might be too big for me. I love this screwdriver set, I really do, but I don't like all of this bag and everything. It's just too inconvenient. So I'm going to make a little tray that's going to have two holes in it. But I can't find my screwdriver. Screwdriver's got bored and went for a walk, I think. Well, anyway, there'll be a hole to put the screwdriver in. There'll be another hole to put this flexible bit in, and then there'll be a series of bits for these to fit in. So, and then that can sit on the desk. Oh, here's the screwdriver. So that'll sit upright like that. But I've already found a box for putting these bits in. I don't know if they're the right size, but yeah, it's just you find programs that you can modify things and just make it work for you.
Mm. That's one
So
thing I haven't done yet. Like I'm struggling to sort of work things out. On I'm more good with the actual hardware than the software, if that makes
yes,
sense.
yeah.
I'm more of the
Whereas I see,
hardware.
looking at the quality of this print, I'm much better at the software than I am the hardware. This has come out really bitty, but I'm going to keep it running anyway. I'm actually, it's funny that I've had no successful prints in about 3-4 weeks. And I'm actually waiting for this to fail so that I can see where it's failed. Because I think, yeah, it's right. When I got it, because it was brand new, it was great. I was printing loads of stuff. I've had a few problems. but that was down to the fact that I didn't know how to use the 3D printer. And then once I learnt to use it at basic level, when I was printing tons of, here you go, here's some more stuff I printed off, some more racks for paints. And just yeah, I'm just 3D printing loads of stuff. I printed off there we go, a little box that I've printed off, which I didn't invent any of these files, by the way. I just got them off the internet. So the little spare parts go in there.
How
I
did the
printed.
drawers go? The spool drawers.
They're coming along. I've drilled them in wrong. So, God, now you put me on the spot now. Right. I'm going to have to lift the camera right up. This is a big project I'm working on, guys. But as you can imagine, when you've finished printing, you end up with this, which is rubbish. So I found this project to turn those into drawers. And this is my work in progress. What you do is you bolt these spools together, drill holes in them, put rods in, and then you print off these drawers. So you can turn your spools into drawers. So there's, but you see, I've had problems with layer shifts and things. So each of these spools will now form 4 drawers, and then you can have them as high. I've worked out because I've got 1 meter rods, so I think optimum is about four spools. So that's 16 drawers, and then put a rotating base on the bottom as well, so I can spin them round, and I can put spare parts. I can make this. I can put 2 drawers in there, so you've got half-size drawers, so it's not so deep. But yeah, it's you are literally limited by your imagination. If it's but this is what, well, as some of you guys know, this is the screw pot that Horlicks did for us. This was 3D printed, and I printed off this tray, which this was a failed print because I didn't keep an eye on it and I ran out of filament. So it's not tall enough, but it's perfectly good enough for my parts drawer. So I've just cut that little bit out with a knife so I can get that in there. But I might redesign all of this so I've got sections so I can put various bits of parts in. But yeah, you are literally limited by your imagination. You just the hardest bit I find is knowing when to put supports in. Because obviously if you've got a really good example is this cat thing that you can print off, and what happens is that you've got where the chin is, the chin actually dips down, and because it prints layer by layer, the base of the chin will actually be printed in midair because you've got this gap there that comes up higher than the chin. So you have to print supports, which it'll print a big rod coming all the way up to there. So then it prints the chin on the bottom. And then obviously if the layer comes out too much, you need more support. So it's
I think the slicer normally does that automatically, though.
yeah, but
Depending on
the problem with the yeah, it is. It's basically like strimmer wire. This is an old bit of but yeah, it's basically like this is 1.75 mil thick, and what it does, it pushes it through, it melts it, and then squeezes it out of a nozzle 0.4 mil. Which you can get different size nozzles. If you got a 0.8 mil size nozzle, you can obviously print twice as fast, but then you're going to lose the quality. Likewise, if you got a 0.1 size mil, 0.1 mil size nozzle, it would be much more highly detailed, but it would take a lot longer to print. Right, so I am being reminded again to do the bins. I did see that somewhere. I think that That's it. Good. A good night, Bins. Ring the wife and daughter in the Philippines. I nearly read that wrong. Um, right. So next week we're going to be doing the rear wheel arches, mud flaps, and attach that to the subframe. I think we're pretty much done here. But yeah, no, you see how I'm going to be. I'm going to be making. I'm going to be working on the blocks for the bus. I'm just trying to run this filament out. But also, I know I should sort of say this. You know, I had that problem with that black print, Horlicks.
Yes.
I don't think the problem now was with the filament. I think the problem was with the printer because that happened just before my printer went really bad, didn't it?
Yeah. And then it
I'm
was
gonna,
doing it with all the colours, wasn't it?
yeah,
I was
yeah,
going to
because it
say
did it with a silver.
it doesn't often. I mean, I've never heard it change with the colour. I know there can be slight differences, but I've never
Yeah.
had an issue with colour.
So, right, what we will do is, well, I will try and get some more chat about the 3D printer, and we'll use that for filler. So if we get a slow build, we've got something we can talk about. So I won't say when that's going to happen, because even next week, although we're only putting wheel arches in, it could end up taking us hours to do. So we'll try and get something together, or possibly I've got an idea, but I'm not going to say it how. I'm going to chat with Horlicks about it. But we might actually have, yeah, we might be able to expand on that. Right. Okay, guys. So if it's all right with you, I'm going to close the show off. Thank you ever so much for watching. I think it's been a great show today. Some nice little detail we've added. It's just sort of just taking it slightly to the next level. And then, you know, each week we take it to another level. And I think it's not going to be too long before everyone's looking at this and gone, oh, damn, I wish I'd started that from stage one. So I'll let Horlicks say goodbye, and then we'll see you all next week.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Been really good fun. And yeah, see you next week.
Okay, then take care, guys. Bye bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye.